Hello again, it's Kevin Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For the United States, the post-war era was a period of tremendous challenges as well as gains. This was the era of the Cold War, a colossal ideological struggle between the classical liberal worldview and communism. The United States championed classical liberalism in contrast to the collectivism of the Soviet Union, wherein everyone existed to serve the state. Accordingly, the United States reached new heights of global influence and domestic prosperity, but at the same time was forced to confront its greatest flaws. This was the era of the Civil Rights Movement, when the marginalized in American society demanded the full benefits of citizenship. It is no accident that the movement led by Martin Luther King Jr. emerged when it did, in the midst of the Cold War and a decade after World War II. Having struggled to eradicate the racist visions of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, many Americans naturally found the domestic bigotry equally odious. If the United States was to champion the cause of liberty and equality in the Cold War, it could no longer tolerate the hypocrisy of segregation. However, the era was also shaped by an explosion of American economic productivity. The enormous upswing in the standard of living was shaped by improved education, positive government action, and greater fiscal liquidity. The United States emerged from World War II as the only industrial power that was not devastated by the war. As such, American manufacturers enjoyed a global market that had few foreign competitors for several decades. Pre-war European and Asian goods were not available until Reconstruction was finished. So it was American automobiles, American appliances, and American typewriters that the world purchased, except in the closed markets of the communist world. As the Civil Rights Act removed legal barriers, the profits from the Cold War global economy fueled improvements in education. Universities received large government grants and college degrees became more prevalent in the workforce. Although the era is filled with innumerable examples of men and women accomplishing more than their forebears in terms of education and wealth, one prime example who embodied the fruits of this era was Herman Cain. Herman Cain was an African-American entrepreneur who rose from poverty to become one of the most successful businessmen in the latter 20th century. Cain was born in Memphis, Tennessee, to parents whose poverty did not discourage them from pursuing a better life for their children. Cain's mother was a domestic worker, and his father held a variety of jobs from janitor, barber, to chauffeur. Undoubtedly, Cain learned the value of hard work from his parents. His father worked 3 jobs at one point to earn enough to purchase a home in Atlanta. Cain graduated high school and earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Morehouse College. From there, he studied computer science at Purdue and earned a master's degree while doing contract work for the Navy. A key element of the Cold War was the race for better technology, and the Navy frequently hired university students to conduct analysis. In Cain's case, he examined ballistic data on a variety of Navy programs. With this type of resume, Cain was hired by Pillsbury as a director of business analysis and specifically tasked to oversee 400 Burger King restaurants as a subsidiary of Pillsbury at the time. Cain was highly successful in returning the outlets to profitability by focusing on improving employee training, especially younger ones, teenagers, solid management, and promoting a positive customer experience. Pillsbury president Win Watland then promoted Cain to CEO of Godfather's Pizza, their struggling pizza franchise. Godfather's was steadily losing its market share until Cain took over in 1986. Cain applied his similar approach of strong leadership, solid training, and excellent customer service to save the franchise. As proof of his accomplishment, Cain and another Pillsbury executive bought out Godfather's from Pillsbury to better manage it according to their business philosophy. At the beginning of the post-war era, the idea that an African American would operate a major national franchise after buying it from an old, well-established company seemed inconceivable. However, Cain did that in spite of the naysayers and critics who argued that America was irredeemably corrupt in its capitalist decadence. By contrast, in communist Russia or China, one never saw a Soviet Mongolian or a Chinese Tibetan rise to such prominence in spite of the less claims of racial harmony. Cain's success was a product of the tremendous change occurring in America during the post-war era, and yet Cain was not finished. In 1989, Cain was appointed to lead the Omaha branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, and 3 years later was on the board of directors for the entire bank. In 1996, he resigned his chairmanship and also retired from Godfather's for the purpose of working in politics. Moving to Washington, D.C., he worked with the National Restaurant Association, quickly rising to the post of CEO for this influential lobbying group. Cain was an active member of the Republican Party after famously criticizing President Bill Clinton's health care plan on a televised national town hall. Cain served as the economic advisor to Bob Dole in 1996 and sought the Republican nomination in 2000. Although he was not selected, Cain's positive personality and strong business credentials made him very popular, and he tried unsuccessfully to win a Senate seat in Georgia in 2004. Cain would try for the presidency again in 2012, but he became mired in sexual misconduct allegations. Herman Cain died in 2019 due to complications from contracting the COVID-19 virus. In many ways, his life was iconic of the transformation wrought in the post-war years in America, a period shaped by the Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement, and an expansion of education. More importantly, Herman Cain is an icon of the potential inherent in a classical liberal and free market society. Thank you.